It will open in 1 minute. It will open in 1 minute.
1 dakika sonra açılacaktır.
Is his grandson a preacher? Is his grandson a preacher?
Torunu vaiz mi?
Do I get engaged often? Do I get engaged often?
Sık sık nişan alır mıyım?
Wouldn't it be a clerk? Will it never be a clerk?
Tezgahtar asla olmaz mı?
Your aunt is an insurance company. Your aunt is an insurance company.
Teyzen sigortacı.
Was your aunt a cleaner? Aunt cleaning buildings.
Teyzen temizlikçi binaları.
Won't you be a greengrocer in 3 minutes? Won't you be a greengrocer in 3 minutes?
3 dakika sonra manav olmaz mısınız?
Can't you wait a second? Can't you wait a second?
1 saniye sonra beklemez misin?
Can't you undertake? Can't he undertake?
Üstlenemez mi?
His mother is a judge. His mother is a judge.
Annesi yargıçtır.
I can't publish. Take a broadcast.
Yayın çekin.
Can't blame the yearbook. Can't blame the yearbook.
Yıllığı suçlayamaz mı?
Didn't he say? Didn't he say?
Söylemedi mi?
His relatives are jewelers. His relatives are jewelers.
Akrabaları kuyumcudur.
We may not be able to make beer occasionally. We may not be able to make beer occasionally.
Ara sıra bira yapamayabiliriz.
My cousins were in command. My cousins were in command.
Kuzenlerim komutandı.
I may not be able to referee every day. I can't referee every day.
Her gün hakemlik yapamam.
Their children are astronauts. The little ones are astronauts.
Küçükler astronottur.
Do they get points often? Are they often included in the scores?
Sık sık puanlar yer alıyorlar mı?
Was your wife a lawyer? To advocate for your spouse?
Eşinizin avukatlığını yapmak.
Usually does not reproduce. Usually does not reproduce.
Genellikle türetmez.
Was your nephew a speaker? Nephew speaking?
Yeğenin konuşması.
Didn't they realize? Aren't they prepared?
Hazırlanmadılar mı?
He wrote every day. He wrote every day.
Her gün kürek çekiyordu.
Our brother is a translator. Our brother is a translator.
Kardeşimiz tercüman.
My colleague was a spy. Colleague spy.
Meslektaşım casusu.
He is the waiter. Or waiter.
Veya garson.
Was not soon an advertiser. Was not a close advertiser.
Yakın reklamcı değildi.
1 week later my hostess. 1 week later my hostess.
1 hafta sonra hostesim.
Can't we be photographers at 5 p.m.? Can't we be with you at 5 p.m.?
Akşamın 5'inde yanında olmaz mıyız?
Post 4 months later. Post 4 months later.
4 ay sonra paylaşmalı.
Shouldn't it roll? Shouldn't it roll?
Yuvarlanmamalı mı?
It was connecting now. It was connecting now.
Şimdi bağlanıyordu.
Shouldn't I be an investor then? Shouldn't I be an investor then?
O zaman yatırımcı olmayayım mı?
Was his grandfather an acrobat? Is his grandfather an acrobat?
Dedesi akrobat mı?
Don't you always have to insist? Is it mandatory to always insist?
Her zaman ısrar etmenin zorunlu mu?
Will they reply every week? Will they reply every week?
Her hafta cevap verecekler mi?
May not connect. Can be connected.
Bağlanabilir.
He wasn't the chef every year. Was not the chief.
Yıl şefi değildi.
Are their grandchildren the receptionists? Are their grandchildren the receptionists?
Torunları resepsiyonist mi?
It cannot advertise at dawn. Advertising shows at dawn.
Şafakta reklam gösterileri.
Could it shed last year? Could it shed last year?
Geçen yıl dökebilir mi?
10 years will not worry. Year will not worry.
Yıl endişelenmeyecek.
Does it hang monthly? Does it hang monthly?
Aylık mı kilitleniyor?
His stepfather is a translator. His stepfather is a translator.
Üvey babası tercümandır.
Are your relatives hairdressers? Are your relatives hairdressers?
Akrabalarınız kuaför mü?
His half-sisters were mechanics. The stepdaughter was a bed repairman.
Üvey kız yatakları tamirciydi.
His half-sister was an electrician. His half-sister was an electrician.
Üvey kız kardeşi elektrikçiydi.
Were their stepmothers garbage collectors? Their stepmother is a garbage collector?
Üvey anneleri çöp toplayıcı.
2 days ago I had a hard time. 2 days ago I had a hard time.
2 gün önce zorlandım mı?
They would cut. They would cut.
Keserlerdi.
My nephew was a songwriter. My nephew was a songwriter.
Yeğenim söz yazarıydı.
Can't I deny? Can't I deny?
İnkar edemez miyim?
We worry at 5 p.m. After 5 sexting we worry.
5 seviştikten sonra endişeleniyoruz.
Isn't he a bartender at sunset? Isn't he a bartender at sunset?
Gün batımında barmen değil mi?
Don't they cook? Don't they cook?
Yemek yapmıyorlar mı?
Does he want it now? Does she want it now?
Şimdi mi istiyor?
Did he thank you at dusk? Did he thank you at dusk?
Alacakaranlıkta teşekkür etti mi?
Is your half-sister a tall sailor? Is your half-sister a tall sailor?
Üvey kız kardeşin uzun denizci mi?
My stepbrother was a juggler. My stepbrother was a juggler.
Üvey ağabeyim hokkabazdı.
My stepson was an operator. Was the step operator.
Üvey operatördü.
His grandson is a salesperson. His grandson is a salesperson.
Torunu satış elemanıdır.
They cannot spend. They cannot spend.
Harcayamazlar.
Didn't you just declare war? Didn't you just declare war?
Hemen savaş açmadın mı?
Children operator. Operator operator.
Operatör operatör.
Would behave. Was a guest.
Misafirdi.
Can't be appreciated after 5 minutes? Can't be appreciated after 5 minutes?
5 dakika sonra takdir edilemez mi?
He couldn't be a weekly cop. He couldn't be a weekly cop.
Haftalık polis olamadı.
Shouldn't you breastfeed right away? Shouldn't you breastfeed right away?
Hemen emzirmeniz gerekmez mi?
Shouldn't you suggest? Don't you need to take lessons?
Ders almanız gerekmiyor mu?
Is his half-brother a fielder? Is his half-brother a fielder?
Üvey kardeşi saha görevlisi mi?
Should I put it then? Should I put it then?
O zaman koymalı mı?
His brother-in-law is a joker. His brother-in-law is a joker.
Kayınbiraderi şakacı.
Can't you be a physicist in 2 days? Can't you be a physicist in 2 days?
2 gün sonra fizikçi olamaz mısın?
Does he run away often? Does he run away often?
Sık sık kaçıyor mu?
Isn't it hate? Isn't it hate?
Nefret değil mi?
Can I talk about nighttime? Can I talk about nighttime?
Gece vakti bahsedebilir miyim?
My nephew was a developer. My nephew was a developer.
Yeğenim geliştiriciydi.
May not take pictures occasionally. May not take pictures occasionally.
Ara sıra resim yapmayabilir.
After 2 hours should not train. After 2 hours should not train.
2 saat sonra antrenman yapmamalıdır.
Can it promote at dusk? Can it promote at dusk?
Alacakaranlıkta teşvik edebilir mi?
Can she do gymnastics for 10 years? Can she do gymnastics for 10 years?
10 yıl jimnastik yapabilir mi?
Shouldn't he be a banker often? Shouldn't he be a banker often?
Sık sık bankacı olması gerekmiyor mu?
Can I publish from time to time? Can I publish from time to time?
Ara sıra yayıncılık yapabilir miyim?
Don't I wake up after 3 weeks? Don't I wake up after 3 weeks?
3 hafta sonra uyanmıyor muyum?
Is her brother-in-law an astronomer? Is her brother-in-law astronomy?
Kayınbiraderi astronomi mü?
Was our brother a soldier? Our brother military building?
Kardeşimiz asker binası.
After 2 weekends we can engineer. 2 weeks of engineering wait.
2 hafta sonu mühendislik ağırlığı.
Can't evaluate it every week? Can't evaluate it every week?
Her hafta değerlendiremez mi?
Did you make up? Did you make up?
Barıştın mı?
They cannot fly. They cannot fly.
Uçamazlar.
Must be an investor at dawn. Must be an investor at dawn.
Şafakta yatırımcı olmalı.
Their neighbors are preachers. Their neighbors are preachers.
Komşuları vaizdir.
Then it will design one in the morning. Then it will design one in the morning.
Daha sonra sabah bir tasarlayacak.
Should appear. Should appear.
Görünmeli.
Can't blame. Can't blame.
Suçlayamaz mı?
Are they commanding after 4 centuries? Are they commanding after 4 centuries?
4 asır sonra mı komuta ediyorlar?
Is my uncle a garbage collector? Is my uncle a garbage collector?
Amcam çöp toplayıcı mı?
Doesn't open in one afternoon. After 1 week it won't open.
Bir hafta sonra açılmıyor.
It should stretch. It should stretch.
Esnemesi gerekir.
Monthly leave. Monthly leave.
Aylık izin vermeli.
Will there be a midwife later at 3 a.m.? Will there be a midwife later at 3 a.m.?
Daha sonra gece yarısı 3'te ebe olacak mı?
We may not be able to make beer occasionally. We may not be able to make beer occasionally.
Ara sıra bira yapamayabiliriz.
His friend is a model. His friend is a model.
Arkadaşı modeldir.
You don't become an inspector at sunset. You don't become an inspector at sunset.
Gün batımında müfettiş olmazsın.
They shouldn't hit. They must hit.
Vurmaları gerekir.
You didn't fix. You didn't fix.
Tamir etmedin.
We cannot increase. We cannot increase.
Artıramayız.
Can it burn? Can it burn?
Yanabilir mi?
I climb. I climb.
Tırmanırım.
Is my nephew the bus driver? Is my nephew the bus driver?
Yeğenim otobüs şoförü mü?
Will you invite? Will you invite?
Davet eder misin?
Is his half-brother a mediator? Is his half-brother a mediator?
Üvey kardeşi arabulucu mu?
Were their wives shoemakers? Wives walk the shoemaker?
Eşleri kunduracı yürümek.
One day later it would not match. He would not come a day later.
Bir gün sonra gelmeyecekti.
Your grandpa is the babysitter. Your grandpa is the babysitter.
Senin deden bebek bakıcısı.
Won't they improve? Functions?
İşlevler mi?
Will he speak in 3 hours? Will he speak in 3 hours?
3 saat sonra konuşacak mı?
Can't connect? Can't connect?
Bağlanamaz mı?
May be appropriate. May be appropriate.
Uygun olabilir.
Can he fix it later at 1 a.m.? Can he fix it later at 1 a.m.?
Daha sonra sabah bir tamir edebilir mi?
Isn't she a shop assistant at sunrise? Isn't she a shop assistant at sunrise?
Güneş doğarken tezgahtar değil mi?
My grandfather was an innkeeper. My grandfather was an innkeeper.
Dedem hancıydı.
Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? Can't he be a scavenger at sunset?
Gün batımında çöpçü olamaz mı?
You are not developing normally. You are developing normally.
Normal bir şekilde gelişiyorsun.
Aren't they painters later on? Aren't they painters?
Ressam değiller mi?
They do often. They do often.
Sık tutarlar.
Should not invest. It should not invest.
Yatırım yapmamalıdır.
We should not pay after 1 hour. We should not pay after 1 hour.
Bir saat sonra ödeme yapmamalıyız.
He was the stepdaughter's filmmaker. His stepdaughter wanted was the filmmakers.
Üvey istediği film yapımcılarıydı.
Is your daughter a botanist? Is your daughter a botanist?
Kızınız botanikçi mi?
Your children are lawyers. Your children are lawyers.
Çocuklarınız avukat.
Hadn't he paid? Not published?
Yayınlamamış mı?
Do I test in 5 hours? After 5 hours I will do my test.
5 saat sonra testimi yapacağım.
Are you invited at 5 p.m.? Are you invited after 5 dates?
5 randevudan sonra davetli misin?
Your cousin's governor. The governor of the cousins.
Kuzenlerin valisi.
They do not interfere later. They do not interfere later.
Daha sonra karışmazlar.
Can't he be a porter at noon? Can't he be a porter at noon?
Öğle vakti kapıcı olamaz mı?
Did he thank you at dusk? Did he thank you at dusk?
Alacakaranlıkta teşekkür etti mi?
Can you evaluate every day? Can you evaluate every day?
Her gün değerlendirebilir mi?
Will they be chefs later at 4 p.m.? Will they be chefs later at 4 p.m.?
Daha sonra gece yarısı 4'te şef olacaklar mı?
Don't we hate every year? Don't you hate every year?
Her yıl nefret etmiyor musun?
Did not do the hematologist every week. Week did not become a hematologist.
Haftası hematolog olmadı.
Will they rise? Will they rise?
Yükselecekler mi?
They won't try in the afternoon. They will not try after using it.
Kullandıktan sonra denemeyecekler.
They eat. They eat.
Onlar yemek.
Help. Help.
Yardım mı?
His half-brother was a soldier. His half-brother was a soldier.
Üvey kardeşi askerdi.
Their grandfather is a night watchman. Their grandfather is a night watchman.
Dedeleri gece bekçisidir.
Couldn't he touch it? Can't touch?
Dokunamaz.
You couldn't confirm 3 nights ago. You couldn't confirm 3 nights ago.
3 gece önce onaylayamadınız.
Your half-sister's secretary. Your half-brother's secretary.
Üvey kardeşin sekreteri.
Will they be artists of the week? Will they be artists of the week?
Haftalık sanatçı olacaklar mı?
Is her half-sister an air traffic controller? Is her half-sister an air traffic controller?
Üvey kız kardeşi hava trafik kontrolörü mü?
His wife is the vocalist. His wife is the vocalist.
Eşi vokalisti.
Can you call often? Can you call often?
Sık sık hitap edebilir misiniz?
Should you say it often? Should you say it often?
Sık sık söylemeli mi?
Is her stepdad a surgeon? Is her stepdad a surgeon?
Üvey babası cerrah mı?
Can't invade. Can't invade.
İşgal edemez mi?
Can I become a journalist before? Can I become a journalist before?
Daha önce gazeteci olabilir miyim?
Are you close? Are you close?
Yaklaşır mısın?
Will he not ride? Will he not ride?
Binmeyecek mi?
Can't I be a waitress sometimes? Sometimes I become a waitress?
Bazen garsonluk görevlisi oluyorum.
You go on. You go on.
Sen devam et.
They did not grow every day. They did not grow every day.
Her gün büyümediler.
Am I hopeful in the afternoon? Am I hopeful in the afternoon?
Öğleden sonra umutlanır mıyım?
Your cousins are forester. Your cousins are forester.
Kuzenleriniz ormancı.
Would be supportive. Should be supportive.
Destek olmalı.
Aren't we equal? Aren't we equal?
Denk değil miyiz?
Shouldn't they match? Are they handsome?
Yakışmalılar mı?
We couldn't ignore it a week ago. We couldn't ignore it a week ago.
Bir hafta önce görmezden gelemezdik.
Are his siblings investors? Are his siblings investors?
Kardeşleri yatırımcı mı?
I have to be a journeyman every week. You will be a journeyman every week.
Her hafta kalfalık yapacaksınız.
Shouldn't you warn me at dawn? Shouldn't you warn me at dawn?
Şafakta uyarman gerekmez mi?
They may not be tailors every month. They can be tailors every month.
Her ay terzi olabilirler.
My grandchildren are conductors. My grandchildren are conductors.
Torunlarım orkestra şefi.
Are their grandchildren watchmen? Are their grandchildren watchmen?
Torunları bekçi mi?
Are their stepmothers opticians? Are their stepmothers opticians?
Üvey anneleri gözlükçü mü?
Is your colleague an accountant? Is your colleague an accountant?
Meslektaşınız muhasebeci mi?
He yawned. He yawned.
Esnedi.
Didn't it happen? Didn't it happen?
Denk gelmedi mi?
Isn't it the golfer decade? Isn't it the golfer decade?
Golfçü 10 yılı değil mi?
Should we touch? Should we touch?
Dokunmalı mıyız?
His friend is a pediatrician. His friend is a pediatrician.
Arkadaşı çocuk doktordur.
Can he be suspicious after 1 century? Can he be suspicious after 1 century?
Bir asır sonra şüphelenebilir mi?
Can't I compare? Can't I compare?
Karşılaştıramaz mıyım?
Should not do internship after 1 day. Should not do internship after 1 day.
Bir gün sonra staj yapmamalıdır.
Can't you swim every week? Can't you face it every week?
Her hafta yüzleşemez misin?
His grandfather is a geologist. His grandfather is a geologist.
Dedesi jeologdur.
Did you go on the night? Did you go on the night?
Gece devam ettin mi?
My wife was a sailor. I was a sailor.
Ben denizciydi.
Can you become a psychologist every year? Can the psychologist be wrong every year?
Her yıl psikolog yanlış olabilir mi?
Your daughter is a columnist. Your daughter is a columnist.
Kızınız köşe yazarı.
I can be a driver every year. He can be a driver every year.
Her yıl şoförlük yapabilir.
Can't lift it occasionally? Can't lift it occasionally?
Ara sıra kaldıramaz mı?
Don't you drink? Isn't he drinking?
İçmiyor mu?
Would occupy. Would occupy.
İşgal ederdi.
Then it should install. Then it should install.
O zaman yüklemeli.
Can you report? Can it misreport?
Yanlış rapor edebilir mi?